Hey, thank you so much for joining me today. I am meteorologist Michaela Smith. We have a lot to talk about in the forecast, especially as we head towards this weekend and Valentine's Day. Things are starting to look a little stormy. So you look at those weather headlines, love is brewing, and so are those storms. Thunderstorm chances increasing Friday, Saturday, which is Valentine's Day. If that's your heads up, you haven't bought something for your loved one just yet, those flowers, made those reservations, do that now. Valentine's Day is Saturday, but those storm chances are continuing until Sunday. And we're also going to see lots of rain possible this weekend across the central and southern U.S. And then the Raising Hail Tour round 3 tomorrow. We're raising hail in Omaha. It's going to be a really good time just overall for the Raising Hail Tour. We have half of our team. Taylor, that's where she is today, and a bunch of other people. Our CEO, Derek Klein, are heading to Omaha, so we will be joining you guys there tomorrow. It'll be, again, a very fun event. 48-hour storm reports. Not really anything to report. The weather has been very quiet recently. A few showers up to the north on Monday. A little bit of snow as well closer to the Great Lakes and some sleet. Then you look at Tuesday and yesterday, we had some rain down in parts of Texas and then far southeastern Oklahoma into Arkansas as well. This was very light rain. And then now you get to Tuesday evening. A few more showers kind of expanded more towards the east, but this wasn't really heavy rainfall, just light rain overall. And again, no storm reports, no severe weather that we are talking about with any of those storms. Current conditions, you can see here's this low and this cold front that moved through yesterday. If you were outside, especially in Oklahoma, Dallas, when you went into work in the morning or you were at lunch, things were really nice. When you were headed home in the evening, or maybe you had dinner plans outside, you really noticed that change as that cold front moved through. And that cold front is also where we're still seeing some of those showers from Atlanta into parts of Mississippi, Alabama as well, down in parts of Louisiana, getting closer to New Orleans this afternoon. So that's bringing some cooler air into places along that cold front. Again, not really worried about storms though with that front. To the north, a little bit of snow showers right now across parts of New York. Then you go to the south and you're seeing some of these showers in parts of North Carolina, South Carolina, Jacksonville, Florida right now seeing some showers. Central U.S. really quiet. Currently, things will change again as we head towards the weekend. And then as you go more off towards the west coast, California, you can see this low pressure system spinning right here, kind of pushing more of that rain onto the land. So lots of rainfall across the coast of California from San Francisco, and then more showers down near Los Angeles and L.A. Temperature-wise, you're in the 40s. In Denver, 30s up to the north, 50s in Oklahoma City and Dallas. Yesterday we were in the 70s. So things again are a lot cooler today than they were yesterday after that cold front moved through. And you can really see where those temperatures are still a little bit warmer ahead of that cold front. Current alerts across the country, not a ton happening. You go off more towards the west, you see these areas that are purple and pink. That's going to be a winter weather advisory or a winter storm warning. So that's higher up in the mountains and the elevations in both California and then the Rockies as well, closer to Denver. So that's just talking about quite a bit of snow possible over the next few days. And then you also go up to the northeast. I just showed you that there was snow happening across parts of New York. So they also have a winter weather advisory. And then as you travel further up to the north, winter weather advisory and winter storm warning in parts of Maine. Besides that, again, the weather is pretty quiet right now. We've been kind of in just this lull of a pattern the last several days. 24-hour snow totals. Here's where, again, you've seen some of that snow up to the northeast. And then I do want to show you where there's been quite a bit of snow back towards the west. Ozzy is on here saying, hello, Michaela and HailTrace watching from Toronto, Canada. Ozzy, we always appreciate you watching from Toronto. It's always a really good time seeing people jump around from across the country and other countries too. So it's always a friendly reminder. Let us know where you're watching from. We like to tailor this forecast to you or just give you a nice shout out. Chipper is also always on here. Chipper, we appreciate you each and every day saying hashtag HailTrace team. Yes, we are so thankful that you are watching for today. Okay, here's where I wanted to show you out towards the west, up into the mountains in California. Check out how much snow they've seen in the last 24 hours, getting more closer to Mammoth Lake, that kind of white color. So that's talking about 1 inch to 2 inches of snow in those higher elevations with more snow coming. So I just showed you those winter weather alerts. That's where they had the winter storm warning. And then there's also been a little bit more snow back closer to Salt Lake City, parts of Colorado, just outside of Denver in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. So those are areas that have been really needing to see snow. They've actually seen less snow in a lot of those locations compared to like Oklahoma, Tennessee. Places like that have seen more snow so far this winter than typical places in the mountains. So it's really good that they're finally actually getting to see some of that snowfall. Now let's talk about this chance for storms over the next few days. We'll start with today. There's an area highlighting out more towards the west. Parts of California, where I just showed you, there's actively still some rainfall right now going to parts of Utah as well, in Nevada. And there's also a little area highlighted here down in Georgia and South Carolina. Let's start off looking though off towards the west. So again, San Francisco, Reno, Salt Lake City, all included in this area. This is just a general thunderstorm risk for today. So the severe weather threat is still extremely limited. But I showed you there's already activity happening there, so it wouldn't be crazy to have a few rumbles of thunder, maybe even some stronger winds in some of these storms. And then the same thing for the East Coast, Charleston, South Carolina, Savannah as well, just outside of Macon, Georgia. That's where we're watching for the chance to see some rumbles of thunder and just storm chances for today. No significant weather is really expected today or tomorrow, but you can see this general thunderstorm risk that we have highlighted again. Very similar to today, it's parts of Nevada, Utah as well, and then Colorado included in your Thursday. But then once we get to Friday, that's when these storm chances start to change. So this is really where we start the forecast, and we're going to start tailoring it to different areas. So again, let us know where you're watching from. But we talked about at the beginning of the forecast how storm chances start to go up. Friday is the first day that you can see this. Areas highlighted in red, that's going to be a general thunderstorm risk. And then we have a marginal risk. It's been several days, if not over a week now, since we've had a marginal risk. That's that level 1 out of 5. That's just outside of San Angelo, Texas. That's going to include Midland, Texas. So watching this area for Friday. Then Saturday, the risk area will shift a little bit more to the east. Now you're including areas like Oklahoma City, Tulsa, parts of Arkansas, Missouri, Louisiana, eastern Texas, all the way into Jackson, Mississippi. See now, Texas Aggie says waiting for rain in Texarkana. You are not going to be waiting much longer, I promise. As we head towards this weekend, we're talking about quite a bit of rainfall. And then we get to Sunday and we'll still be watching for the chance for storms, and I'll break that down a little bit more here in a few minutes. Significant hail model for today. You can kind of play this forward. You see a little bit of these white, gray colors. Not anything crazy impressive. We'll zoom in here quickly and show you again where you start to see a little bit of these yellows and oranges. Parts of Nevada, getting closer to Utah this afternoon. This is around 5 p.m. or this is Thursday. So again, the chance for some hail is going to be very limited. It's very small hail that we're talking about. So I did make a hail forecast for you. It's, again, very small hail that we're talking about. This is really for today and tomorrow. It's kind of trailing in the same place. So where we showed you the thunderstorms today is also the risk area that they're highlighting for tomorrow, again, for general thunderstorms. If there were to be any hail possible in the higher elevations, it's going to stay pretty small. Honestly, it might be more graupel than anything else. But I went ahead and said size would be around a quarter. Not expecting anything above a quarter. And the risk potential is extremely low. Again, Salt Lake City down to Beaver, Vernal as well. I'm really not expecting anything crazy coming out of these storms over the next 2 days. But we can play the future radar and just kind of time this out. So you can see there's that heavy rain fall off towards the west, and then still a few lingering showers to the south, and that rain and snow mix up to the northeast. Play this through the rest of your Wednesday. Thursday morning, now you're seeing more snowfall in areas like Denver. We'll take a closer look here in a second and zoom in. So here's a look at the rest of your day today. It's just 3:30 this afternoon. You see some of these just kind of pop up, little showers and thunderstorms. That's the area that we're watching for. Again, general thunderstorm risk. Could there be possible lightning? Absolutely. Will you hear rumbles of thunder? Very possible. Severe weather after that? Extremely limited for today. But this is around 7 o'clock tonight. You can still see maybe some of these yellows and reds closer to Salt Lake City, which is why I went ahead and made a hail forecast for today. Again, if a storm was to get strong enough, we're talking about maybe quarter-size hail. Everything else is going to be smaller. Peas, maybe pennies. I think it's going to be very small hail if there were any for today. Here's tonight. You're seeing a mixture of that rain, some snow up again higher up in the mountains. More snow as you head into your Thursday, especially get more to the Rockies outside of Denver. That's Thursday morning, and then more storm chances possible Thursday afternoon. Very similar area that you just saw I showed you for today. This is 7 o'clock in the evening Thursday again, just outside of Salt Lake City, kind of along Highway 15. That's where we'll watch for storms again tomorrow on Thursday. Then, like I mentioned, you have storms on Friday possible. Then Saturday we're watching this area, and then this shifts more to the east on Sunday. Now you're talking about Atlanta, parts of North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. So this is going to be a multi-day event that we're talking about Friday all the way through the weekend. So it's a stormy weekend for Valentine's Day. Ozzy said Daytona Beach on Sunday. Yes, Daytona Beach on Sunday. When we get towards those temperatures at the end, I will show you what those temperatures are looking like for anyone who's wanting to watch the Daytona 500. It's going to look pretty good, but you could be dodging some showers on Sunday in Florida. 5-day rain chances A lot of moisture moves in really back just for the southern half of the U.S. You can see that as you break it down each day. Today, it's still seeing that rainfall. This is our storm system, by the way. The storm system that's arriving this weekend for the Central Plains is what's out into the west coast right now in California. So rain out west. Storm system starts to move a little bit more to the east by Thursday. Friday, now we're seeing heavy rain and storms possible, and that trend will continue Saturday and Sunday as well. For the flood outlook, we don't have to worry about one for today or tomorrow. Once we get to Friday, we do have an area highlighted we can see from Oklahoma City back towards the Texas Panhandle, just outside of Lubbock, Texas, but that's a level 1 risk. Isolated flash flooding will be possible. Is it going to be widespread? No. The chance for flooding increases, though, Saturday. So after you see very heavy rainfall Friday night into Saturday morning, more storms possible Saturday afternoon. Now you've introduced this level 2 risk. So again, you can see that highlighted here in yellow. That's scattered flash flooding. So now it's more likely that we're seeing some of that. And that's going to include southeastern Oklahoma, areas like Texarkana, Shreveport, back up closer to Memphis for Saturday. And then you still have a flood risk on Sunday, but it's back to just a level 1 risk at that point, but it includes North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, all the way down to Lake Jacksonville, Florida. So several days that we're not only watching for the chance for severe weather, but also watching for the chance for heavy rainfall. And really that's the big thing that we're watching this weekend is we really need the rainfall because things have been so dry. But if we get a lot of it in a very short amount of time, that's when we start to see more of those flooding kind of risks go up. Future jet stream will play this through as we get closer to the weekend. So by Friday in the afternoon, you start to see kind of this dip in the jet stream and you get this low pressure system that's going to start to arrive. That's when storms really become a little bit more likely this weekend, is when that low is developing. So it's going to develop somewhere closer to New Mexico and Texas. As it's deepening, as we're kind of really digging in this, what we call a trough, we're seeing this area that's going to give us some lift on the other side of this low. That's going to be the best chance for storms. Right now, that timing looks like it's going to be more happening Saturday afternoon into Saturday night. So I'm not as concerned for the storm chances Friday compared to Saturday into Sunday. You can still see Sunday, this is that kind of final round that we're watching for, but this low is moving just off the coast. And then it jumps up to the north by the time we get to early next week. And then we'll have another really strong low pressure system off the west coast by Tuesday or Wednesday. And that will bring us another chance for possible storms later on into next week. So we're getting into a little bit more of an active weather pattern after things have been pretty calm over the last few days. That'll definitely be something worth watching for. So we play this forward through the rest of today. Areas that I showed you, there's a few showers possible this afternoon between Charleston and parts of Georgia, Brunswick. This is 7 o'clock this evening. Again, 1 or 2 isolated showers, maybe a stronger thunderstorm with more lightning, small hail, strong winds. The severe threat is very limited for today. Then we zoom out and we play this forward, and you can see where the next round of storms arrives Friday. So we said Friday night to Saturday is a heavy rain event, but isolated severe weather, because what I just told you is that trough and that deepening low is coming Saturday. So Friday night's not really as big of a risk. So you can see a few showers far west, Texas, New Mexico as well. That's that next round that we're watching for. Then we get into Saturday. This is right around 10 o'clock Saturday night. You're seeing these yellow colors, so this is really indicating to us where we're seeing some of these stronger storms, and that's when the better chance for storms arrives, is going to be Saturday night. Still keeping storms all the way through Sunday, but then you see kind of a re-strengthening Sunday afternoon, areas from Atlanta down towards the coast of Florida. That's that final round that we're watching for. But it will be a stormy weekend, so especially if you have any Valentine's Day plans, again, if you haven't made them yet, maybe just make sure that they're inside, or be ready to pivot any of those plans that you do have for this weekend if you're in the south, because we are talking about storm chances Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then, like I also mentioned, we have another strong low pressure system that'll move into next week. So by next Friday, you can see this is bringing kind of a line of storms from Chicago all the way down to Louisiana. Heavy snowfall to the north of that, so Canada back around Minneapolis, and then more snow back towards the west coast. So we keep this pretty active weather pattern even after this week and as we head into next week. And we can kind of see that too with our extended rain outlook. It very much favors more wetter than average conditions across the west coast and back to the north. This is valid February 16th through the 20th, so you're getting more towards the middle to end of the month. But it does start to shift a little bit more to favor drier than average conditions to the south, so that's something that we'll have to watch closely, especially with these really warmer than average conditions moving in. We're done with the cold for now. For a good next 2 weeks or so, we are saying goodbye to the cold weather through most of the U.S., and we are going to be extremely warm, well above average, 15 to 20 degrees some days. But with the warmer temperatures and the drier conditions, it's also going to be something we have to watch closely for the part of wildfires. We're warm up for February. Here's your Wednesday. A little bit of a dip tomorrow on Thursday, but then very quickly that cold air gets pushed out by Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You can really see the theme here again, that we are done with the cold weather. It's going to just be nice and comfortable over the next several days. Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., a little bit chilly of a start to the north, but warming up nicely in the afternoon. You're back into the 70s in Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, 60s in areas like Birmingham. Cool as you start off your Friday morning, but then again, a nice warm up in the afternoon. A little bit cooler to the west. You're in the 40s in Billings, Salt Lake City, Denver, you're at 49. Saturday morning is a cool start, but a nice warm afternoon for this weekend. Sunday morning, cool start, nothing crazy unreasonable for this time of year. Warm up in the afternoon, you're back into the 60s again in Oklahoma City. Monday, there's that low pressure system that brought us all of these storms over the weekend. It's now off the coast by Monday afternoon. So that's going to bring some pretty breezy conditions along the East Coast Monday afternoon. Temperature-wise, things are looking fairly nice, in my opinion, as you go throughout the rest of the week. Before we wrap up, I want to give anyone an opportunity to ask any last final questions that you have. I know I just threw a lot of information at you at once. As we get a little bit closer to Friday and Saturday and Sunday, we'll have more updates on this potential severe weather and if it looks more likely, if it looks less likely, the timing, how much rain that we're talking about. All of those details will continue to come in the next few days. Until then, make sure you're following us because we will also post all those updates on our social media. So Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, just at HailTrace. We are active on every single one of those platforms. And as we're talking about more severe weather potential, we are also watching for spring being just around the corner. So if you do not have a subscription with HailTrace just yet and you want to get a hail, wind, or tornado map, give us a call. 855-334-4245, or you can email us at info@hailtrace.com, or you can visit our website at hailtrace.com. And if you want an opportunity to meet some of us again in person, our CEO Derek Klein, Taylor, other people a part of this group, make sure you're joining us on the Raising Hail Tour. Next stop is tomorrow in Omaha. We still have tickets available. You just need to go to raising-hail-tour.com and you can get your tickets to a city in Omaha. If you can't make Omaha, next week we are in Chicago. Then the week after that, we are in Denver. And then finally, we finish in Minnesota and Minneapolis on March 3rd. So we still have multiple stops to go. Go to, again, raising-hail-tour.com, and you can see if there's a city closest to you. We also have coupon codes that kind of make those tickets a little bit cheaper. You can DM us if you want one of those coupon codes as well. But if we don't have any more questions, thank you so much for joining us today. We will be back here again tomorrow at the same time, same place, but with more Raising Hail Tour content. So we hope that you guys join us then. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.